Hey guys, how are you? Hey, this is part 2 of how to do three-way call. If you haven't watched part 1 yet, check that out before you watch this video. So part 2 is what to do if you're the expert. You've been brought on to be an expert for someone on a three-way call. Okay? The first thing is, they've made the introduction, they've edified you. Now you're going to start the conversation with the prospect. The first thing I would do is again, I like to build rapport with someone. Obviously this person is a stranger. They don't know you. They're a little nervous. They're a little unsure what's going on because they've just been introduced to a stranger. So you got to be warm and friendly, okay? I like to build a little rapport. Say, hey, confirm their name. So you said your name was John. Great to meet you, John. You want to use their name as much as possible because that's the sweetest sound in any language is a person's name. So when you're talking to people, use their name over and over. I'm not good at memory names. So when he says John, I write that down in big letters on a notepad in front of me so I don't forget his name as I'm listening and talking to him. So I'm going to ask him a few questions. Hey, where are you from? Are you from that area? What do you do for work? I might build a little rapport, find out a little bit about his family, what's going on in his life. And then what I'm going to do is basically I'm going to ask him a question. I'm going to say, so great, John, you got a chance to see the video or you just saw the PowerPoint presentation? Or I'll ask him, what did you actually just see? Was it the video? Did you see a PowerPoint? And he's going to say I saw the video, I saw the PowerPoint. And then I'm going to say, great, John, what did you like best about what you saw? Was it the travel, the money, or the business, or both? And at that point, he's going to answer. If he says both, then he's ready to rock. And I'm going to ask him the closing question. I'm going to say, hey, are you ready to get started, John? Because here's your job as the expert. Your job is very simple. It's to ask the person to get started at least 3 times, okay? Your job is to ask the person to get started at least 3 times. So I'm going to ask him that closing question. Are you ready to get started, okay? Now, if he says yes, I'm going to talk about in a second what we do there. Now, in some cases, what's going to happen is he's going to have some questions, or he's going to say, yes, but, I got to find the money. Yes, but I got to talk to my spouse. Yes, but, and he's going to have an objection. At that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go into, just like the prospect said, or the person that brought me on, when they asked me to get on the phone, they said, can you tell your story? At that point, what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, hey, you know what? I'm going to tell my story. I'm going to kind of do my 3-step setup, and I'm going to incorporate it with a 30-second testimonial. I'm going to tell my story, and when it's over, I'm going to say, something like, John, it sounds like you're pretty excited about this. Let me just get a feel on a scale of 1 to 10. 1 being you think this is the worst thing since communism, and you absolutely can't wait to get off the phone. 10 being, you're ready to get started right now. You're all in on this thing. Where are you between 1 and 10? And at that point, what he's going to say is if he says anything between, less than 5, I'm going to say, hey, John, we appreciate you taking a look at what we're doing. Sounds like it's not a fit for you at this time. Great to meet you. Take care. And you hang up. Now, if he says he's a 5, what I'm going to do at that point is I'm going to say, hey, man, you should definitely, if you want to come on some vacations with us, get yourself locked in at whatever vacation package you want. I'll catch you later. Now, if he's a 6 or above, what I'm going to do is I'm basically going to, I'm going to ask him, if he says he's a 6 or he says he's a 7 or he says an 8, I'm going to ask him this question. I'm going to say, what would it take to get you to a 10? What would it take to get to a 10? And he's going to say something, and whatever he says, I'm going to have a story available of someone else who's been successful in that company that's going to answer that question. He might say, if I had more time, or if I just need to come up with the money. And I'm just going to give an example of someone who didn't have the money. Maybe it's me. Maybe it's my story. And I can say, yeah, I know how you feel. I felt the same way. This is what I found, and I came up with the money on a credit card. And then what we're going to do is we're going to reclose after that. And we're going to say, great, are you ready to get started? Because again, it's your job to ask him 2 or 3 times at least to get started, okay, as the expert. Now, if at that point he's just not ready to get started, I'm going to say, hey, the next step is, let's plug you into one of our parties. I mean, we're a social club. We're a social company. Obviously, if you don't even like the people that are part of this club, you're not going to want to be part of it. So why don't we invite you out to one of the parties we're having locally there? You can bring your wife to that, and you can meet some of the cool people. And if you decide that, at that point, you're going to get to see a second look at what we're doing, and that way it'll answer a lot of the questions that you might have. So, Johnny, when's the next travel party in your area? the person that's introducing you to the prospect will tell you, hey, there's one Thursday night, or there's one Wednesday, there's one Thursday. At that point, you say to the prospect, you know, does that work for you? Why don't you bring your wife out to that? Is that cool? They confirm that, and you get off the phone, okay? Hey, nice to meet you. It's a pleasure. I'll look forward to meeting you on a vacation sometime soon, right? Whatever the case. Now, here's the deal, guys. If at any point during the conversation the prospect says, yes, I'm in, I'm ready to get started, what you're going to do is you're going to literally take their information over the phone. So at this point, okay, if I am the person that brought the prospect onto the call, I'm the one sitting with the prospect, I better have an application and forms and a pen and paper there with me, because as the expert, what your job is going to be to do at that point, if they say, yes, I think I am ready to get started. It's like, cool, well, which credit card do you want to use? And then they're going to say, my MasterCard or my debit card. And at that point you say, great, get that out. Okay, get that out. And then you're just going to start asking them the questions that are on the form. And as you're asking, the person who's introduced this prospect better pull out an app and start filling in the blanks. So if I'm talking to John, I say, great, what credit card are you going to use? Get that out right now, okay? Now, John, it's John, and what's your last name, John? Awesome, and what's your mailing address? And what's your social security number? What's your birthday? And what I'm going to do is I'm literally going to go through the entire form and get all the information. And you, as the person that introduced this, your job is to be writing this down and filling out the app. So then when it's over, we've got all that information on a piece of paper. And I'm simply going to say, hey, John, welcome to the team. Let's get you in the system. And then we're going to do, maybe set up the next step is let's do a call. Once you get in the system, you guys buzz me back and we'll do a quick call on how to get started. But the bottom line is it's your job to get the information, to close it, and to make it happen, and then get off the phone, okay? So that's it, guys. Three-way calls are powerful. You should be using them all the time. I think it's a great way to end a travel party. I think it's a great way to end a one-on-one. If you're new and you're doing a two-on-one, you can even use a third-party call. So hope that helps, guys. Take care and God bless.